coming co-students that'll be here as well, although I know at least one student was unable at the last minute to join. But thank you guys for being here. So this is sort of the start of your journey, what I hope is a very rewarding journey for you. Lauren, if you want to go ahead and go on to the next my sort of slide there. So just to introduce myself, I'm Matt Rutherford. I'm the director of the MBA program. I'm also a professor in the program. I'm a professor in the Department of Management. I teach in the MBA program, so I'll be the last class you'll take will be with me 2 years from now or whenever that comes, so way down the road. I'll be sort of the last class in strategy that you'll take at the very end of your program. I also teach the MBA 695 international trip. So if you go on that, I'll get to work with you there as well. And I'm here to answer any questions you have along the way. Okay, so Lauren, Tracy, and I are all happy to help you in any way that we can along the road. So you see my kids there. All of them are being quiet so far. Let's see if that continues, but we can always hope. I want to let the other members of our team introduce themselves. So Tracy, I think you're up next.
Hi, thank you, Matt and Lauren, and welcome to everyone. I'm Tracy S. Smiley. I've been at the MBA office starting on my 4th year now. I just would like to say that you will be working with a great team. Our singular goal is simply to help you be successful students. So I hope you reach out anytime you have questions, and I'm looking forward to working together with you. I guess my fun fact is I have 2 citizenships, and so I'm really looking forward to getting back to traveling as soon as it's safe to do so. But I'm even more excited to get started with this new spring semester. And again, welcome to you all. And I think Lauren's up next. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to try to advance the slide. Let's see. There we go. Hi, I am Lauren Perpetua. I think I've talked to almost everybody on the call today. I've actually not seen you, so hello. I am the director for marketing and recruitment for our MBA programs. I have been with the program in faculty form for just about a little bit over a year, but I just graduated from our innovation MBA program in May. And as I've told you all on the phone, it has completely changed my life. I am very excited for you guys to start your MBA journey. Candidly, I went for those 3 letters. I wanted the 3 letters after my name, but I ended up getting so much more. So I hope you experience the same thing. A fun fact about me is I am a mother of twin boys who are virtual learning in 4th grade right now. We did have a really rough morning. So I have bribed them to stay away with every device that I possibly can, but that also takes up my bandwidth. So less of 2 evils. I also have a dog who will probably bark during this presentation. So thank you all for being here. And that's it.
Okay, so normally, as you guys, I think probably all know, we start in August, right? So the sort of the program is set up for students to join in August, and because of that, we normally don't have an opportunity to actually let students introduce themselves. However, there are just 8 of you joining us here in January. So we thought what we could do actually is maybe take a minute and 5 of them have not yet arrived. So really the pressure's on just the 3 of you. It's just Carol, Joe, and Roy. But we thought maybe it would be good to let you guys introduce yourselves a little bit. If you want to use your camera, you can. If not, no problem. Understand, these things, who knows? You may not be camera ready, which is just fine. But if you would, maybe just introduce yourselves. So I guess we have from this group, we have Joe. So Joe, you want to just say a few words of introduction?
Sure thing, Doc. Thank you very much. My name is Joe Hamlin. I am a Virginia native, born in Manassas and now in Alexandria. Proud Virginia Tech undergraduate as well. Go Hokies. I followed up that with going to George Mason for studying biodefense. I was very interested in microbiology and bioweapons early on, and then joined the federal government and been there ever since. Deployed a bunch of times to Iraq, Afghanistan, and throughout Africa, and now back in DC, because you do it for so long and they end up promoting you, and then you're back in the rear to help manage the process and lead the next generation. Very excited to try to grow as a leader, and all the lessons that will go into this program. That's about it for me. I don't want to take up too much time. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Joe. Roy.
Yes. Hello, my name is Roy Vincent. I've let's see, been in the technology space for about 15, maybe 17 years now, managing projects in that space. Very interested in the MBA program here with the focus on information security, which I'm doing currently. I work for CBS at the present time, trying to move things into the cloud and determining, what kind of securities they're going to have to need going forward. I have a bachelor's and a master's. But I did want the business side of things along with the information security. Looking forward to this program. It's one of the few programs that I found that combined the business aspect focus with the information security. So very much looking forward to doing this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. You can see some of the folks that'll be joining you as January enrollees here. So you can see again, Deloitte and this another sort of federal agency, and then CACI. So this is kind of your mini cohort within the larger, 30-person cohort, that started in August. So, yeah, I wish these guys were here to introduce themselves, but having seen their resumes and so forth, also really interesting experience. Okay, let's move on to the executive leadership group. And Carol, what can I say? You're representing the group here so far anyway, but would you like to say a few words?
Sure. I'm Carol Alexi. I was a JMU undergrad graduate, and I have been in banking for 20 years since I graduated. The Career Center was amazing at JMU. There were so many job offers out of school in 2002. The economy was great, but I stuck with banking, and so I'm now at a new bank. I had been with SunTrust, which is now Truist, for most of my career, and I was asked to come over to Atlantic Union to kind of lead culture change, a shift. And so I'm really excited to use my MBA to do that. I'm passionate about mentoring the recent graduates because I had a lot of help when I first started. And so that's something that I want to get out of this program. I hope to get a lot of information that I can then pass along. I feel like my education's a little dated now. So I want to refresh it with, all the new information out there. So I think it'll be great. I've got 4 kids and a lot of stuff going on, but we all do. And so, I'm just excited to start this journey.
We're excited to have you. And you can see your 2 colleagues here that'll be joining you. So Alex obviously has worked in nonprofits, and Sean is a physician. So those are the other 2 folks coming in with you. Let's take a look at some of the people that joined in August. So these are people that you will soon be working with. Now, this includes the Innovation MBA, Executive Leadership, and InfoSec, right? So these are the whole 90 students that we brought in August here represented. But one of the things that we really like about our program is the diversity of experience and thought and background that your classmates are going to have. And so, you can just look through the list here. I think our biggest single employer is the federal government. All kinds of different agencies represented. Merck, I think, is number 2. I think we have 7 or 8 Merck folks that joined in August. And then you see, people from defense, people from banking, people from the nonprofits. We have teachers, nurses, physicians, anything you can think of. we pretty much probably have somebody somewhere in the program or a recent graduate. So we're very excited about the backgrounds that people, bring to the table here. And I see we've got one person waiting to join us here. So Phil, I think I can go ahead and admit Phil. And maybe we'll have him introduce himself too. It's only fair. Hi, Phil. How you doing? I don't think he's quite in yet. Sorry. Afternoon, Phil. How you doing? Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Are you, we just actually had the students introduce themselves. I don't know if are you able to do that? Is your, no audio? Okay. No problem, Phil. All right. Well, let's carry on then. Let's get back to looking at the, so we're looking at work backgrounds of the folks that joined us in August. You can see the different employers here. Let's go on to the undergrad institutions. So Carol, you'll be happy to know that JMU is the #1 most common undergraduate institution amongst our students. But as you can see, it's schools all over the country and several throughout the world as well. So again, just a diversity of thought, a diversity of experience that we like to build in these cohorts. And the last one I think is undergraduate major, the next slide. So again, if you look at this, we have nurses, we have social workers, we have, of course, quite a few people in business, a fair number with a computer-oriented background, especially in InfoSec, but biologists, architects, I mean, you name it, everything you can think of, we have represented, which I think is one of the real selling points of our program, right? Is this network of interesting and talented and driven people that you're gonna get to know. Okay, just sort of an overview. You can see sort of, average age, sort of mid-30s. That's pretty typical. Slightly more men than women. We'd like to make that, 50-50, but this year we were a little bit more male dominated. Next slide, Lauren. You probably have read about this and looked at this as you compared programs and so forth, but I do just want to tell you a little bit about some of the things that we're proud of in our program and why we are confident that our program is going to be a good fit for you. The first is, we're nationally recognized as one of the best programs in the country, right? So in terms of different rankings, organizations, and things like that, we tend to fare very well. On the right there, you can see our accreditor, the AACSB, and the AACSB is the gold standard for accreditation in business schools. We're actually up next year for reaccreditation, and they'll send a team of deans of other business schools down, and they'll look at our financial models, the publishing rates and reputation of the faculty, physical facilities, like everything you can think of top to bottom, to ensure that we're really delivering what we say we can deliver. And I have no doubts that we will be reaccredited, without any concern. We collect a lot of data on outcomes. So one of the things we want to know is, is the program working for our students? And you can never guarantee any one student anything, right? I mean, I can't say that, Joe, you're guaranteed to get a, 42% pay increase. We don't know. You might triple your salary, you might get zero. We don't know, but we can look at averages to give people an idea of what kinds of outcomes are people typically seeing. So these are things that MBA programs usually would collect, right? Are people being promoted? Are they moving on to maybe a better opportunity with another organization? And as you can see, around 75% of our students, and this is while they're in the program, so this is from our exit survey, are seeing that happen, which is wonderful. On average, pay increase 21%. And the number on the bottom is a really nice one. Although we are ranked really highly and we compete against a lot of schools that have really good programs. There's a lot of good MBA programs out there. I think a differentiator for us is that we have been fortunate enough to have an administration that has kept our tuition rates relatively low. It's expensive still, but comparatively to a program that we would compete with, I think our tuition is quite reasonable. And I'm really happy that so many of our graduates, you can see half of our graduates graduate with no debt because their employer is helping them, or they have savings, or they're able to pay as they go, or whatever the case may be. But that's really a nice thing because, as you all know, student loan debt is a real, it's a difficult thing to get out from under. One of the things we're really proud of is the networking opportunities that you'll have. We think that we have a good balance between being online like this, so a lot of your classes will be taught, like this, but then you'll also have these in-person sessions, required in-person sessions every so often. Once COVID allows it, of course, we are going to be online for the spring semester. But let's hope by summer things look really different and we're able to start having these in-person sessions again. And this is important for building that network. These kinds of in-person things, a lot of that happens on the lunch break between classes, or, after class is over, or, whatever. So we want to get people together as much as we can. Building that network is a piece of an MBA that is really important. And you'll be joining not just, again, I'd like you to think of not just your cohort of 30. That's the group you're going to be most familiar with, of course, rather the 30 people that you're in class with all the time. But remember that there's a second year of students, there's a third year of students, there are students in the other programs. So although you're in, say, InfoSec, there's our innovation students and our ELMBA students. They're all in JMU MBA students, right? And so to the extent that you can get to know people, and see them on LinkedIn and see that they work for a company that you're interested in, or vice versa, all the better. Same with our alumni. So you can see, just JMU MBA alumni, we have over 2,000, and just in Northern Virginia, there's a ton of JMU alumni like Carol all over the place. So it's a big network here for you to tap into. The number on the right is also from our exit survey, and this is the number I'm actually most proud of. I've never seen another program with a number that high. A lot of schools will report this, that sort of, would you recommend the program to a friend or colleague? I've never seen one this high. And this is the one that, to me, it tells you more than anything else about whether people feel like they've had a good experience with us. So this one, let's hope we keep this number up, and we'll do our best to do that. Normally we would have an orientation on campus, and we would come in and there would be food, and there would be, all the trappings of going back to school, right? Going back to college. And a few years ago, this is before I was running the program, so it must have been 6 years ago, I was teaching my class, again, the last class you take, and some of the students said, I've never been to JMU. I've been in this program for like 28 months, and I've never been there. Is it a real school? Or is it, because you only see the Hilton Tyson's Corner, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's a real school. It's like, it's beautiful, actually. So we want to just, if you've never been there, at least to show you, virtually a little bit of what campus looks like. So this is the main quad here, and Carol could actually do this tour better than I can, but this is the main, the main quad here is sort of the postcard image of JMU that you'll typically see. Go ahead. Here's the graduate school, is housed up on the fourth floor of this building, which you may probably will interact with the graduate school in some kind of way. Just some other shots of campus. This is behind the business school, Newman Lake, and the football stadium in the background. If you walked over to the other side of the business school, then you would run into the football stadium here. This is the gym, so UREC, as it's called, this enormous gym that is on campus. And this, most excitingly, is our new business school. So we just this May opened this $100 million extension to our business school. It more than doubled the size of the space compared to what we had before. So I think we can take you inside to give you a look at what it looks like. So this is the new business school atrium. It's a 3-story atrium. I think in the next picture, you'll be able to see it from up above. Yeah, so over on the left, this is what it looks like. Down on the bottom in the basement is a new dining facility, which you can see over on the right. This again is the atrium, so the capital markets lab over on the left, and entrepreneurship center over on the right. And that's the mascot, by the way, if you don't know, that's the Duke dog. There he is. Yeah, some of the rooms, conference room here. And most importantly, this is our home. Okay, so if you come into the new business school, directly to your left will be the MBA suite. So we are right there, Tracy, Lauren, me, conference room, really nice place to be. So we're excited about this. Again, JMU is a big school. We're right around 22,000 students right now. We're basically exactly the same size as UVA. So it's a place that's grown a lot. And Carol, I joined JMU in 2002. So just since then, it has grown by probably 8,000 students or something like that, quite a bit bigger even than just, just when we were joined. Okay, so a little tour around the building. I'm going to turn this one over to Lauren.
Let's see. Oh, I have my little screen protector on. Hey, everyone. Something that you can do really quickly today. It's an easy networking idea. Matt mentioned that you're part of this huge cohort, not just the students that are enrolled now, but students before you, after you. So we'd love for you to post on LinkedIn that you've started your MBA journey. And the proper posting would be something like in your profile, you can say you're a candidate of an MBA at James Madison University. And that's listed right here. And if you post, tag us, we want to share, we want to be your partner in this. And as we're all trying to, almost for a year now, navigate this virtual world, I think LinkedIn has really kind of stepped up its game and been a way for all of us to connect. So please connect with us socially. We are very soon going to be launching an Instagram account for those of you that are on Instagram. We do have a YouTube channel and we do have a Facebook account as well. So, but where we primarily engage is LinkedIn. So we hope that you will connect with us there and you'll get to see your greater JMU MBA family when you do so. All right, Matt, back to you.
Perfect. So let's talk a little bit about my favorite part of the program, probably my favorite part of the program, which is a class that is an option to you. You don't have to take this course. It's an elective, but I just want to put it on your radar in case you're not familiar with it so that you can start to plan a little bit if need be. In your second year, so this would be next March, you have an elective block. So you can choose to either take course in investment analysis or statistics, or you can choose to take this MBA 695 course, which is our international trip. Most students, as you can expect, choose this because it's probably the single most impactful thing that we do. It's an amazing opportunity to really bond with people, when you travel with them and so forth. So let me just briefly talk about this. Again, it's optional. It's a 10-day, almost everything associated with the class takes place just over 10 days. So it's a way to take, what is normally an 8-week course and really condense it into a tighter window, which is nice for people. It gives you a little bit of a break. What do we do on these visits? We do business visits, usually 5 or 6 business visits. So we've done all kinds of things over the years, from heavy industry, like we went to the Hyundai factory outside of Beijing. I think it's the biggest car factory in the world, or one of them. We went to Remy Martin and learned all about luxury goods, the cognac tasting, so it's like services, products, everything you can think of. And then we do cultural visits as well. So, if you're in China, if we're in Beijing, we would go to the Great Wall, or if you're in, Bangkok, you would go to the temples or whatever the case may be. The great thing about this is everything is included in your tuition other than your airfare and, a meal here and there, souvenirs, that kind of stuff. Okay. So it's a perk of the program, where everything is basically already paid for. Where do we go? We've been all over the world. You can see some of the places here. Last year, we were scheduled to go to Japan, and heartbreakingly, we had to cancel that trip because of COVID. About 10 days before we were supposed to leave, we had to cancel it, which was the worst decision I've had to make since I've been involved with the program. This year, so normally we travel in March over spring break. This year we have pushed the trip back to the fall. So we do still plan to offer it for this year's students, but we'll do it in October, December, or something like that. Hopefully by the time this comes around for you guys, so I guess for you guys it would be next March, right? A year and 2 months from now. Hopefully we're not even thinking about this anymore. You guys will get to give some input into where we go. So we work with a tour provider, and they'll give us sort of their 10 best trips, like where are other programs having success in terms of good experience. And then I'll send it out for a vote, and we'll pick a place that everybody's interested in. This is one place where you can get some networking with our innovation students and students in either executive leadership or InfoSec, because you're on the trip with people from all the different programs. And so it's a nice opportunity to meet some new people, right? And again, broaden that network a little bit. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. So, top left, that's Copenhagen. You can see that Scandinavia in March, it's cold, right? So the ocean is frozen there. That's salt water in the background, but still amazing trip, fantastic time had by all. Also, I love these pictures because these are all our students, our real folks, and every one of them I could tell you a story about, and it would warm your heart. I mean, we get such amazing folks in this program, so it's really fun to see these beautiful faces again. Top middle, that's a visit we did with Maersk, right? The world's biggest shipping company. We got to meet with the CEO of Asia for all of Maersk, a really interesting visit. Top right is Hong Kong. Bottom left is in Bangkok. Middle bottom is in the Mekong Delta in Vietnam, and bottom right is with a company visit with a company called Schneider Electric, who does a lot of work with Internet of Things, sensors, all kinds of, it was like a really interesting visit if you're interested in technology and innovation. So these are the kinds of things we do. And again, you have plenty of time, but it's just a little something I wanted to plant a seed with you to think about, in the future. And I hope it works out that you can participate.
What are you doing this spring?
This spring, so that trip has been moved to the fall, and we don't know where we'll go, but we know we're going somewhere. So we've committed to offering an experience. We don't know what that will be. It could be, domestic. It could be, my guess would be Western Europe, somewhere that, they've purchased a lot of vaccine, but it's yet to be determined. But we are going to offer something.
Okay.
That's sort of what we've committed to. Okay, the sort of what we've termed here the not so fun stuff, but this is important. It's part of orientation, right? Is understand the rules and the policies and all that sort of thing. JMU, won't surprise you, has lots of policies. There's a policy for everything. We're not going to read them all to you. If you want to know what all the policies are, you can go to the link here and read up on them, or you can just ask me or Tracy or Lauren, and we'll tell you, or we'll look it up and tell you what that policy is. The few that I think really have impact on you, one would be our academic dishonesty policies. Hopefully this goes without saying. I'm sure that it does, but JMU takes this very seriously. People are dismissed for academic dishonesty. It's not tolerated. And what we're talking about here is just basically taking credit for work that you didn't do. So my advice on this is to even, I think people usually get in trouble when they're behind or they're stressed out, and, they haven't had time to do the case analysis. And so they look online and try to find something that somebody else has done. You're much better off just reaching out to your professor and saying, hey, this week at work has been crazy, or I've got this issue with my family. Can I get an extension? I may have to take a late penalty, but you're much better off doing that than cutting a corner. Most of your work is going to get run through plagiarism detection software. So I'm just forewarning you that this is how it works so that we don't run into any issues. And that's Turnitin. That's the name of the software. So it goes out and compares somebody's case analysis with case analyses that have been turned in for the last 50 years at 1,000 different universities around the world. So it's pretty easy to detect that kind of thing in this day and age. So again, bottom line is, I just want you to be aware of this and to let you know that this is important, and you want it to be important because you're going to put the work in, and you want to be sure everybody that's going to get that same degree that you're going to get has put the same level of work in. Okay, so forewarned is forearmed here. Other policies, at the graduate level, you have a different grading scale, which is a surprise to people a lot of times. So it's just A's, B's, a C, and an F. There's no D's, there's no C plus, C minus. At the graduate level, we are expecting that you will have A's and B's. That is where you want to set your expectations. I mean, that's where 98% of all the grades fall. All right, a C in an MBA class usually means that there were some serious problems. It's akin to an F at the undergraduate level. So if you see yourself getting a C, you should take that as a warning that things are not going like they should. If you get 3 C's, you will be dismissed from JMU. An F is incredibly rare. I think in the whole time I've been involved with the MBA program, we've had 3 F's. And in every case, it was something cut and dried. The student didn't turn any work in, or something catastrophic went wrong. So I don't want to scare you. I don't want you to think that, oh, we're weeding people out left and right with this F. But I just want you to know what the rule is, right? So again, if one F, and you will be dismissed from JMU. So let's avoid all that. Again, it's typically not that difficult to stay in the A's and B's range. That's where the vast majority of grades are. You can appeal a grade, but I do want you to know that you would appeal to me, and my ability to overturn a grade is really limited. The policy says the only way I can overturn a grade is if the faculty member didn't do what they said they would do in their syllabus. So for example, if they said the final exam was worth 50%, and then for you, they counted it as 25%, then I can step in and overturn that grade. But I cannot go back and regrade an exam or anything like that. So your best options are to work with the professor themselves, because they really hold a lot of the power here. The second thing is every course, of course, has an evaluation, and I just want to encourage you to fill it out. I read every one of them. A lot of changes are made. We want to, again, be sure that this program is meeting your expectations. The only way we know that is if we get feedback. So please do give us feedback by filling out that course evaluation each time. You are a JMU student as every bit as much as an incoming freshman undergraduate. So everything that is available to as somebody that lives in a dorm on campus is available to you. All right. So Carol mentioned the placement center, for example, that they're available to you just like they are to an undergraduate. All right. So it may be that you're not looking for a job through them, although they have, this handshake system that, people post jobs in, of course, but they also have services like resume review or look at your LinkedIn profile and help you think about how to bolster it. So think of them not just as a place to go to look at job openings, but also just as a potential resource if you're interested in that kind of thing. Same with the libraries. The libraries have, like any major university, the library has all kinds of resources. I don't know what might be useful to you, but I just want you to be aware that it is available to you. The gym, I mean, if you happen to be in Harrisonburg, you can go to the gym just like any other student can, right? So again, it's anything that's available to any undergraduate is available to you. Networking resources. So again, there's the Alumni Association. There's lots of things. To the extent that you want to get involved, you can. We also have a lot of software. So all kinds of digital, go ahead, Lauren. Sorry, I was anticipating that click to that next thing. So digital resources, everything you can think of. I don't know, we didn't list half of them here. Canvas, if you haven't been in Canvas yet, I would strongly recommend that you go and check into that. Every class will use Canvas, and that's where the professor will post your, the slide decks and your grades and all that kind of thing. The classes are taught through WebEx generally, although we have had one faculty member use Zoom. But generally they're taught through WebEx, and the link to your weekly class is available to you in Canvas. So when you go into Canvas, if you haven't been there already, you'll see on the left-hand side a list of links to the grades, to syllabus files, and then on the bottom is WebEx. So it's really easy to find your class every week. My Madison, I am sure you have already been into, but that's where you go to register for classes and so forth. Tracy will issue you the permissions to enroll. So it's should be very simple for you. If you have any issues with that, just let us know. As a student, you can download the Microsoft Office suite. So Teams, Word, Excel, the whole package is free to you as a member of JMU. Tableau is available to you. Zoom is available to you. You have your own Zoom account. Question Pro is like Qualtrics or SurveyMonkey, something like that. So if you want to do any kind of surveying, there's a lot of anything that JMU is licensed, most of it is available to you as a student. So again, maybe helpful, maybe not, but I just want you to realize you're now part of this big institution, not just our MBA program. I like this slide because it makes faculty sound like aliens, like someone you've never interacted with, and they're so weird that they have to have their own slide. It's kind of true. As a faculty member, I guess I can say that. So I think I put this slide in here simply because, I end up seeing any problems that arise, right? They sort of will come to me. If there's a problem that a student has, it'll filter its way up to me. And what almost invariably is the cause of the problem is that the student and the professor have not been communicating with each other. Usually the student has not done a good job of keeping the professor in the loop as to what's going on with their situation. So my big message for you, so Joe, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I went to Virginia Tech, and professor and student interaction was not, I didn't talk to my professors, especially sort of, the first couple of years, because I always had 700 people in the class with me. Like it wasn't a thing where you went and asked a lot of questions or got to know your professor. This culture is very different. Again, it's a small group of 30. Our professors want to work with you. That's the culture of JMU. They want to answer your questions. They want to help you understand things. And so don't hesitate to reach out to them and let them know what's going on. If you don't understand a concept, or if you have to miss a class, let them know, and let them know it in as far in advance as possible, right? Because if they know that even if it's 2 months from now, that helps, right? As opposed to you letting them know the day before. So my big message here, and that's why it's bolded in a big font, is just keep communicating with the faculty. Let them know what is going on with you and your situation so that they can help. They want to help, I promise you. And Lauren, it looks like we've got Elizabeth. Okay, very good. I would encourage you to participate in class. I know for the introverts among us, that's not your natural tendency. It's not maybe as easy, but you're going to get the most out of this program to the extent that you are involved with it, right? So the more that you ask questions, the more that you chime in with your unique background, the better off everyone's going to be, right? Because everybody learns from each other, and everyone, especially, it's useful because if I, as the professor, throw out a concept, what's neat is to hear, okay, how does that work in the defense, contracting industry? And how is that different than pharmaceuticals? And how is that different than healthcare? right? That's where the really good learning goes. But in order to get that kind of learning, people have to be willing to chime in and give you their background. So I would encourage you to participate. Most of our classes are set up to be very participative in nature. So jump in there, even if it's not easy for you, jump in there. The last one, we do hold students to high expectations. It's not an easy program. It is going to be time consuming. It is going to be challenging. I think that sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you don't like that, but when you're done with it, you're happy that it was rigorous, right? You don't want it to be so simple and so easy that it's just sort of a stamp, a diploma mill kind of a thing. And so we do have very high expectations, but I want to give you some confidence in this. We just ran the numbers on our retention rate, graduation rate. So of the students who joined us, I think we looked at the last 5 years, maybe Tracy ran the data, but I think maybe it was the last 5 years of incoming students. How many of them actually graduated? And the number was 94%. All right, so 94% of the students that start our program graduate. And that includes people that they have to quit because they got moved across the country or, all kinds of things. So I want you to have confidence that if you put the work in, although it's going to be challenging, if you put the work in, you can do this. Again, you've been vetted. We've seen your backgrounds. We know where you work and what you did as an undergrad and so forth. So I want you to be confident that this is going to work for you. Okay. But the key variable is you got to put the work in. But if you put the work in, I promise you're going to have a good experience with us. Course schedule. So this is obviously, again, we're starting fully online. So what days are in person versus not in person is not as relevant. However, once we are able to restart our meetings in person, we already have calendars out there for you to plan well in advance as to what specific days those are. If you haven't seen them, you can go to the link here, or if you go to our webpage and click on current students, it'll open a drop-down menu and you'll see academic calendars there. If you click on academic calendars and you find your cohort, the group that you entered with, you'll be able to see exactly what days will be in person for your entire time in the program. All right. And welcome to the new folks that joined us. I'm sorry that that we didn't get a chance to have you introduce yourselves and so forth, but welcome. Yeah, Lauren, do you want to handle this one?
Hey, everyone. So I did reach out to members of each of your cohorts. Derek Attardi from Information Security, he says hello. And then also Mary Hope Voss from Executive Leadership. She also says hello. She says you guys are the best cohort. So, so they wanted to welcome you. After this orientation, I'm going to send you all an email with a recording, as well as Derek and Mary Hope's contact information. Both of them have set up a group chat with your other members, with the other members of your cohort. So they'll be able to connect you in on that. It's especially nice for your first day of virtual class if you can't get the technology working, which you all probably will not have a problem with. I did, but it's nice to have somebody that or a group that you can text and say, hey, I'm here. I'm just, I'm having some trouble, or if you need to step away. Also, I've heard that the group chats can be a lot of fun. My cohort, we still talk all the time. And there have been other cohorts that, we've heard have taken vacations together. So like I've said on the phone, probably to all of you, your cohort kind of becomes the career family you never knew you really wanted or needed. So I hope to connect you with them and get you guys, even though you're starting a semester after the rest of them, really fold you in right away from the get-go. So as promised, after this, I'm not talented enough to put it in the chat, like I said here, because I have to find their information. So I'd rather just put it in an email. That way you have it saved for, so that you can reach out to them.
Yeah, and I would echo that. I don't get to participate in any of these groups as the professor, but it's hilarious to hear. I mean, I can tell that they're just pinging away, even during class because of the questions people ask or something. And I was talking to somebody the other day who graduated like 4 years ago, and their group is still going strong, texting, and people, having fun, but also sometimes asking really like good questions about like some problem they're dealing with, or they're looking for a new job or something like that. So strongly encourage you to get connected with these people through, if they've set up, I don't know what they set it up on Slack or whatever, but I'm sure they've got stuff set up and there's a lot of information being exchanged here through these groups.
Yes. Ours was on GroupMe, or is on GroupMe, and I actually just wrote a letter of recommendation for one of my cohort members the other day. So it does happen. You get very close, and it's a different kind of relationship because you have had, like Matt mentioned, these conversations in classes where you bring what you're doing on your day-to-day to a completely diverse, different perspective, and you get to reflect on that. So that doesn't go away when the program ends. It definitely continues. And it's nice to have resources when you have, a big presentation. I would use my cohort to practice presentations. And I knew they would give me a really honest, feedback. I say a lot. They have told me that. So, don't be afraid to utilize those resources. That's why we are intentionally small, so that you guys can create your own cohort culture, hopefully of, positivity and lifting each other up.
Yeah, and for the record, that was an InfoSec MBA group, and they really developed quite a culture within their group, and they all went to Barbados together after they graduated. That's how strong they kept. So that group, yeah, good group there. Okay, I think next is just our closing slide. I'm sorry for those of you that just joined us. So sorry you couldn't be here from the get-go, but we'll send you the recording. I know it's just about 1 o'clock. I'm sure lots of you have meetings and so forth that you need to get on with. But I can take a question or two if anybody wants to ask one, if you have something that's sort of for the good of the group. If you have individual questions or things that, pertain to you, please reach out to me or Lauren or Tracy, and we'll get it done. But anything that we covered today that anybody wants to clarify or ask about?
You mentioned that you use Canvas to look at the syllabus, the course, postings, etc., notes from the professor. When do you use Outlook? I noticed I had gotten an account to do that. Is that something that comes from the collectively from the university? I noticed I didn't have to go back in there when the professor had posted notes for the start of this course this Saturday. So what do you use the Outlook piece for? Is that just for general communication between university?
Yeah, Tracy, do you know this one? What sometimes happens is the graduate school or JMU itself will send out emails that don't pertain to MBA students because they're talking to all 2,000 graduate students. I don't know about the Outlook piece. We do not use it in the MBA program. Tracy, anything to add on that?
I think it's, you're exactly right. It's the fact that no official email will come to your private email account or the account that you used when you came in as a student. It will only go to your @Dukes account. So you really need to monitor that and keep up with that, because you'll get lots of email, but often there's email you have to act on. And so, yes, that would be why Outlook would be important to use.
That is that's a good point. A good thing to mention. Your Duke's email account is what we will use to contact you. So, and so anything that comes from me or JMU MBA or Lauren or Tracy or your professor will go to your Duke's account. Unfortunately, you will also get an unbelievable amount of stuff from JMU about the Arboretum and football tickets and all this stuff. And there's no way for us to control it. I apologize, but yeah, you got to watch the Duke's account. Very good point.
Okay.
Also
thanks.
I'm sorry, Roy, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep.
Just to add, with the Outlook account, you do have access to Microsoft Office and Teams. Later in our cohort, we started collaborating via Teams. Matt also mentioned you get the Zoom account. So yeah, it's nice to have that Duke's account because it will sync up with those other things as well. Like your Zoom will go through your Duke's all of that will go through your Duke's account.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Going once? Well, thank you guys. This was a lot of fun. It's nice to see you guys a little bit and hear from you all. I am looking forward to working with you. I know I speak for Tracy and Lauren when I say we're excited to have you. I think I have not worked with the folks that started in August as a professor yet, but I have talked with a lot of them and met a lot of them. And I'm really think those are two amazing groups that you guys are joining. I think you'll really enjoy working with them. So best of luck as you kick this thing off. Please don't hesitate to reach out if we can help with anything.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Congratulations. It's a big step.
Thank you very much.
It'll fly. I'm telling you, it'll fly by. You'll be like, I remember orientation, because that was me. 28 months will go like that. So, all right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great first class.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you.